Oh god. Did we do this last time? I don't think we did we? This is new? Well then, let's get out of the way. Here we have the noble hero and heartthrob, Lord Sir Knight Captain Remus Corbeau, played a key role in rescuing hundreds of prisoners from the dragon cultist. Long-awaited return, Unexpectables lead caravan of dragon cultist survivors. For weeks, the city and its citizens have been mourning the loss of their family members at the hands of an attack led by Darkus of the dragon cult of Innstrock. Indeed, several mercenaries have left the city in hopes of finding either those taken or one Tarisk of Iron Oath as payment for the hostages, as they were named. For weeks, everyone was in fear of another attack as adventuring group the Unexpectables, and by extension Task, were nowhere to be found. Having departed early in the morning the day after the attack, it was presumed that the group fled the city. Earlier this week, the Unexpectables were found approaching the city at the head of a caravan consisting of several hundred Alivast citizens. As it turns out, they were hostages of said draconic cult who were freed by the adventuring group after several months of captivity. As some were taken from the dragon attack 2 winters past, the city of Libreus Village has been utterly decimated, sources in the caravan have stated. It was a harrowing experience, but we survived, said survivor Lauren Patterson. They had some building a wall, others making arms and armor for the dragons, and those like myself were tasked with creating some sort of ritual circle. Those who defied orders saw five of those innocent of any orders killed. Lauren, a human sorcerer, went on to state that even talking was forbidden. With Dragonborn and half-dragon guards whipping them if they weren't fast enough in their tasks, and actual dragons ranging from wormlings to ancients just waiting to eat those foolish enough to disobey or escape. Excuse me. About a week ago, a violent uprising took place, which unseated the cultists. Reports say that a massive amount of fire to the north had caught the attention of patrolling cultists 2 days prior, who had subsequently captured the Blood Axe Orc tribe and a majority of the Unexpectables. Task was reportedly not with his party members when they were captured, however that soon changed. We were about to watch Darkus sacrifice several people to Innstrock when there was a massive roar, followed by a shout of, "Darkus, your greatest mistake has arrived," Lauren recalled. After that, a giant mechanical dragon flew in and the revolt had started. The mechanical dragon was under the command of Task and brought the three-headed dragon down at the cost of the machine. On the ground, prisoners started fighting against their captors, and reports state that while initially looking like he fell in battle, Task took the head of Darkus, who melted into goop that was pulled into oblivion. A couple of ancient dragons, white and red, joined the fight but were stopped by a pair of Marits, celestials summoned from Mechanicus, home of the clockwork goddess Oriara. How or why they were summoned is still uncertain. With the battle won, the survivors began to assess the damage, tend to the wounded, and recover the dead. The cultists attacked when several prisoners started retaliating in the chaos, human merchant Larry Siegfried said. A couple of dragons themselves attacked as well. We were initially powerless. I lost a couple of friends that day. We were overpowered. The day we overpowered the monsters. The caravan also brought bags upon bags of coin to help with a fund to support those lost in the 2 dragon attacks, as well as the uprising. The fund name has yet to be determined, but a poll will be placed in various taverns and this paper in the near future. While there have been reports of a construct fighting alongside the prisoners against the cultist, as well as a red dragon switching sides mid-fight, those who have yet to be confirmed. It wasn't something I'd wish on anyone, Patterson stated. We survived and we're thankful for the Unexpectables for showing up when they did and saving as many as they could. The Unexpectables were unavailable for comment at this time. Memorial services for those lost will be held Uspade, rain or shine, in the lower General District Square. Attendees are asked to bring flowers or other memorial items. Damn. Damn. And I know a bot of the junk variety wanted me to read this, so meet our new Genasi employees at the Romantian. All 4 types: hard like rock, wet like water, hot like fire, or blowing like the wind. And there he is. Not sure how long I should show it. I should show that. Dolly's Pastries. Free baguettes. Hot damn. Why is there a skull? Don't worry about it. And why don't we do the letters to the Lady of Livrosia? And VOD muted? Wait, why is the VOD getting muted? Dear Lady, I was once one of the prisoners of the Dragon Cult, and I have decided that it was time to do something about getting my life back on track. You see, I was once a sellsword before I met my wife, and we settled down for a new beginning outside of Tricadia. We became bakers and began selling our bread and rolls in the lower General District. After the second attack in which I was taken, I felt powerless to fight back, though I knew I could, even if it was frowned upon. When I got back, my wife and I began to discuss my experience, and I decided to join the Griffin Riders branch of the Vetrion Army. My wife has not been supportive of this decision and has become distant. I'm fearing our relationship is ending. What should I do to help her see that I'm doing this for her instead of myself? Signed, Free Falling Cadet. Dear Free Falling Cadet, I love you. I understand your desire to protect the people dear to you from harm. Your wife's displeasure from your decision could be from a variety of things. She nearly lost you to the Dragon Cult, and she may be afraid that she will lose you again in the next crisis. The idea that you willingly put yourself in harm's way may be too much for her to bear right now. It has only been a few days since you returned home, and she may feel like she needs a period of safety and normalcy before she's willing to let you take on a dangerous occupation. I encourage you to talk with her again, get a sense of where she's at. The answer may be no, but instead not right now. May not be no, but instead not right now. Besides, bakers serve the city too. Dear Lady of Livrosia, I have this guy pretty clearly interested in me, and I'm thinking the feeling might be mutual. But my problem is that I'm not very good at expressing myself. Words don't come easily to me. Actually, they don't really come at all. I like to express myself in other ways, like art or non-verbal communication, like a touch or a hug. I do that a lot. I've been trying to figure out a good way to let him know that I'm interested, but I want to take things slowly. It'd be a good method to message across without having to literally draw pictures. Signed, Silent Partner. Dear Silent, I love you. I'm sorry to hear about your communication issues, but it sounds like your situation isn't necessarily a bad problem. Have you considered sending a message with the language of flowers? I don't mean with the application of a speak with plants spell, but rather meanings and messages associated with different flowers, in different numbers, arrangements, colors, and combinations. Different cultures have their own language of flowers. The Eastern Isles and Altan traditions vary enough that you may need to consider the recipient's background before giving them a bouquet. Sometimes you can also send a message with food. Again, different cultures have different ways of communicating very specific ideas with food, or better yet, you could always combine the two and send him an edible cookie bouquet. Dear lady, this guy I know has come back into town and has let me know he'd like to become friends. This is super exciting. I have co-workers, associates, and even some acquaintances, but this is the first time a guy said he'd like to get to know me better and be my friend. I was wondering what kinds of usual activities do men and women do who are friends together? Where I grew up, boys and girls don't usually get to be friends, so I really don't know what kind of thing this young man and woman might do with each other. Maybe. I also changed jobs recently and money is a little tight. What's something cheap or nearly free that I could do with a guy that would be fun for us both and make him really happy? I'm afraid I'm going to blow this. Signed, Bewildered Butcher. Oh yeah, that's Helena, alright. Dear Bewildered, I love you. It is great that you have a new friend. Alivast is an expensive place to live, but there are plenty of things a couple of people can do together on the cheap. There's always visiting parks or a nice hike through the Druidic district, or visiting the zoo there. Now that the weather is warmer, the beach is also a really fun day trip, and there's plenty of secluded spots you could visit. But if you don't like sand and places where it shouldn't be, then that may not be your speed. There are more activities in Tent Town, including puppet shows and other street performances on the promenade there. Or you could leave the city and have a nice trip to the countryside, or on horseback for a nice picnic. I don't know your culture or tradition, so I don't know exactly what you're up for, but you could always just have sex. That's always free. It's true. Just fuck already. A shame when it became briefly canon and then immediately vanished from Borky's hands. It was never canon. I'm sorry. You can read one more article. You can check out the 2-time survivors on the front page. Okay, I'll do that, but I'll probably end the stream here quickly after that. I know I got a little bit of a late start, but circumstances being what they are, I wasn't exactly prepared for my sister to go into labor. She's about a month early, actually. Is it a ship or a cannon? It's a ship with a cannon. The most recent attack by the Dragon Cult created many victims, and the recent retrieval of the hostages brought a happy end to most stories. While we do mourn the loss of loved ones, friends, and co-workers, many take solace focusing on the stories of successes and survival. Lyman Betterbong and his wife Gretchen are a halfling couple that run a Dragon Smoke Glass workshop. Dragon Smoke Glassworks, a shop that sells hand-blown glassware that is purely decorative or for tobacco use only. The most recent attack by the cultists was not the couple's first run-in with them. One might recall the previous attack 2 winters ago when Wyvern Riders launched a smaller raid that was thwarted by the appearance of the Silver King. Gretchen Betterbong was nearly a victim of that assault when a Wyvern attempted to haul her off into captivity. Yeah. It was a harrowing experience, she stated. I thought maybe I was done for, but my husband managed to catch my leg at the last minute and pull me down from the beast's clutches. I was terrified. I've lost my fucking place. When I got the news that I had been abducted, that he had been abducted in the most recent attack, I was beside myself. Mr. Betterbong was among a group recently returned by the Unexpectables Guild, and was in surprisingly high spirits despite this ordeal. I never lost hope, you see. I knew that Alivast is a city of heroes and doers, and that all I had to do was hang on and help would arrive. And what do you know? It did. Familiar faces, even. Mr. Betterbong added to his wife's account of her own near escape. On that winter day, this group of hard-asses showed up out of nowhere to come to our aid. It wasn't until they showed up to rescue me from Libra village that I realized they were the same group. Apparently, Miss Betterbong, abduction 2 years ago, had been thwarted in a large due to the arrival of the Unexpectables Adventuring Guild, who saved several citizens from wyvern riders, in addition to the halfling couple. Miss Betterbong did not make the connection, and in the grief of losing her husband, she was among many who asked for Tarask of Iron Oath and Venevel of the Northlands to be exchanged to the cult for the safe return of her prisoners and others. It's too bad she didn't know that they were on the way to help us out, said Mr. Betterbong. I would have told her to sit tight, have a relaxing smoke, and just wait for my safe return. Once I saw them in the Breas village, I knew that everything was going to be alright, especially with that big green orc, man. He's a real buddy. I always say that there's no situation that can't be mellowed out in the presence of a big green bud. Miss Betterbong was more circumspect. I feel very sorry that I didn't know this is the same group that helped me earlier. In my anxiety, I judged things rather harshly. I would have been much more at ease if I had known that Griffin Knight Lord Captain Sir Remus Corbeau was a part of the rescue team. I had heard many stories from other prisoners about how he aided them over the concern for his own safety. In the end, Miss Betterbong hopes that the Unexpectables Guild can forgive her anxiety. If those boys come round to Dragon Glass, they are welcome to pick out a purely decorative, for tobacco use only water pipe of their choice, free of charge. Why, I'll even give them access to our private stash. Mr. Betterbong shared his wife's appreciation. I'll certainly love to pack a pipe with them as long as I have enough perfectly legal halfling pipe weed left for my glaucoma. Jesus. How does a halfling get glaucoma? Briefly, canon. Of course. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go.